Hi, and welcome back to the Calligra-knitter Podcast. Thanks for being with me today. I'm Bailey, your host, and this is a podcast about knitting, making all the things, as well as calligraphy and stationery love. So, I wanted to thank everybody for watching the first episode. I was kind of blown away that anybody beyond my mom watched, which I've heard from numerous people, and you did, so thank you. I know that my interests are very all over the place, and I know that many of yours are as well, so hopefully you will take away something, at least part of what I enjoy doing, and you'll take away something from one of the segments. After rewatching the podcast last time, I decided that this time I would split it into two very distinct categories. So I think how I will have things structured today and moving forward will be to do the first section as knitting and making all of the things. So for anybody that's interested in that, you can watch that or the whole episode. And then at the end, I will talk about calligraphy, lettering, the beautiful mail that I receive, and anything related to stationery. That way I can tell all my calligraphy friends and everybody interested in learning or interested in calligraphy where to start the podcast, or how to skip the knitting portion, because I recognize many of you don't knit, and maybe don't want all of the specific details that I go into, which is totally fine. So without further ado, I'm Bailey, and you can find me on Instagram as antiquariabailey. You can find me on Ravelry as amondesignlab, and I'm on Facebook as well if you want to try to find me over there. I'm not very active on Facebook. I'm probably most active, very active on Instagram. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoy. So to start with knitting, I think we'll jump right into, well, let's do finished objects, because I actually have quite a few, couple, that I have finished since we last spoke, and I'm pretty freaking excited about them. The first one I'm wearing, it is the Thunderstorm shawl. It was a mystery knit along. The pattern is by Alicia Plummer, and I started the project on my birthday last year, which is June 25th, and I finished it last week. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen a post with my excitement for finishing it. It languished for a really long time. It's not like I was working on it consistently the whole time. I thought I had made a really huge error, so I put it down for months and months. Decided, you know what, I really need to finish that, and turns out there was not an error at all. I had just finished in the middle of a row, or dropped it in the middle of a row, and so I kind of had to wrap my brain around where to pick it back up, but once I did, I was able to finish it within the next couple of days. So here's the finished shawl. Can see some of the lace detail. Anyway, so I am super excited about it. It is the most difficult lace project I think I've ever done to date. And by difficult, I don't mean it was actually very, very hard. It was just keeping track, and there were multiple lace sections. And for those of you who don't know, mystery knit-alongs are where designers release the pattern in stages. So you get stage 1, which is like this part, and then stage 2, and so like each section is a different part that's released maybe like 1, 2, 3 weeks in sequence. So when you start knitting it, you have no idea what the finished product's gonna look like. So I really lucked out. I really liked the theme. I really love rain and thunderstorms and the way that rain and those kinds of storms really renews the earth and the smell after them, and just like so much surrounding that I was really inspired by the theme. So I just decided to dive in, and my parents bought me the yarn, which is It's Turn by Quince & Co. And the actual colorway is escaping me, but it's pretty accurate actually as I see it on the camera. It's quite a light stone gray, and honestly it goes with so much. I'm so excited about it. So yeah, I'm thrilled that this is done, and it's perfect for the weather right now, which has been, the highs have been in the 60s. Some of the highs have been in the 70s here in Denver, and yeah, it's been lovely here. So anyway, my second finished object you saw last time, almost finished, which is my Leslie pullover. It is also made from Quince & Co. yarn, and it is out of this book, Home and Away by Hannah Fettig. And that's the sweater as it is in the book. Anyway, and I am just thrilled with this as well. My only complaint is that the neckline rides up a little bit high, but considering it's not a formal sweater, it's out of quite bulky yarn, I'm probably just going to be using it knocking around the house here and there, running errands. It's not like anything I will be dressing up with. Well, I don't really get dressed up that much anyway, but anyway, it's just a casual sweater. Next time I would maybe consider making it, instead of, I made it with, it's raglan sleeve, and I knit it from the top down. So there's also in the book options for knitting it in pieces. So you'd knit the front, you'd knit the back, you'd knit each sleeve, then you would seam it. And I almost wonder if like that fit would be better or different, or maybe it would be more adjustable. Yeah, so I think I will probably make the pattern again because it knit up so quickly. And overall it fits really well. And that was also the one that I didn't swatch at all for, so I think it's lucky it just fits, to be really honest. I kind of took a gamble on that one. So anyway, that's my 2 finished projects, and then I have a lot of works in progress this week I have been actively working on. This is my basket of happiness right here. It sits on my coffee table, and I'll put it over here. So the first one is also from the book Home and Away by Hannah Fettig, which, if you follow her on Instagram, she is having for this month a fashion show of like sweaters and projects made from this book. So like if you made one, you could style an outfit, take a picture, post it, and then you could possibly win prizes, which is fun. So I might do that with the Leslie sweater because that's from here. I don't know that this vest is going to be done by the end of the month. But it's possible. It depends on how much I work on it. So anyway, oh, it's all tangled. This is what I have so far. And this is Quince & Co. Chickadee yarn in the gingerbread color. Which I have to say I'm a little iffy on. I love the color itself. I wonder how much I'll wear it. Because it's not really, it's a great neutral, but it's not really one of my go-to colors, which are very much navy, chambray, any color of blue, and gray and black with pops of coral. I think you'll learn very quickly that I have a uniform. So that's going well. I did kind of mess it up the other night because I was knitting on it when I was really tired, and I messed the very small amount of pattern stitches up, so I had to fix it the next morning. Next is the Hypatia sweater, which is by Don Catanzara. And I had some choice words for this pattern last time, and I think it's going okay. I will say I got to, so you knit it from like the middle around the body and back to the other button band. It's a cardigan. And I got to the side, I was rejoining, I did the sleeve, I was rejoining the back, and I realized I had been making an error the whole time because the pattern isn't written very clearly. So I ripped the whole thing out and started over again, which I absolutely do not like doing. I try to avoid that at all costs. So anyway, here's what I have so far. So you can see there's the hole for the sleeve. This is the front button band. And then I will have to seam the sleeve and then seam it to the underarm. And then I'm working along the back. Oh, I'm losing stitches. So jury's still out. I think it's gonna fit. Hopefully it blocks and like I can stretch it a bit because I did try it on after I had done the sleeve, and it seems like it's going to be a little bit tight, even though I did swatch and made sure everything was going to be good with that, because I was actually very concerned about this fitting, but I think it'll be okay. I think I can make it work. So we shall see. My next work in progress, losing balls of yarn like crazy, is the 3-color cashmere shawl by I forget her name. I'm terrible with names. You can probably notice that by now. I think it's Yohi Locatelli, maybe. It's a knit along with the podcast, The Grocery Girls. And the yarn that I'm using is something I had been using on another project that was just was not working out. And so I'm excited to be using this yarn. And I think this is going to also be a lovely shawl for spring. So it's all out of Madeline Tosh, Merino Light. And These two colors are, this is Optic, and this is Dr. Zhivago Sky, which is really awesome, like indigo. And then the third color I'll be using eventually in it is Bark, which is this color. Which actually that's pretty true to color. It's like a really cool kind of golden brown. But I think it'll be really pretty all together. And also super neutral, which is what I'm interested in. So anyway, excited about how that one's coming out. Let's see. My last work in progress. Oh, no, I have two more. Okay. This is gonna be on the floor. This is gonna be quite a work in progress because I am going to be designing my own lace sweater. So my goal for 2016, because it's 2016, is to better plan my handmade wardrobe, which I know is a lot of other people's goals as well, in the kind of knitting, sewing, making group of people. So instead of just making things, I want to be really considered about what I am making, and especially because there's so much time invested in it, I want to make sure things that are going to be heirlooms, things I'm going to wear, things that will be neutral. So just planning my sewing projects, planning my knitting projects, and making sure that they mesh. And that, so like if I'm thinking of making a shirt, if I need a sweater to go with that shirt, that, I have the yarn for it, and just that it's thought through and considered. So what I've realized is that I'm missing really good throw-on sweaters from my wardrobe that are lighter weight. I showed you last time the black and cream and brown sweater that I had been making since 2008, which is exactly what I want in a sweater, but that sweater is like basically a winter coat because it's alpaca. So my thought is to do something similar to that, but lightweight for spring. So I bought some yarn. It's Quince & Co. Tern, and it's in the terracotta color. Note Pops of Coral, my color. And then last night I swatched up, this is also Tern from my previous project, but I swatched up some lace just to kind of play around with different lace patterns that I could potentially use on this sweater. So this bottom, I love also, the name of it is Papyrus Lace. So the fact that I'm a calligrapher, I'm having a papyrus themed sweater is very appealing to me. So anyway, more to come on that, but I just wanted to briefly show that to you because you're gonna keep me accountable on getting that done. And then the last project I'm really excited about. I know I showed it briefly on Instagram, and I'm sure that most calligraphers have not stuck with me this long, but this was entirely inspired by this podcast, and it's the socks that I've been working on for myself. And I decided, I don't know, maybe a week ago, pretty soon after launching the podcast and the first episode, that I wanted calligraphy-themed socks. And so I tried a bunch of things. I tried lace that had kind of a calligraphy theme, But what it came down to was that Fair Isle knitting in 2 colors was going to be the best result, most striking. So I have nib socks. So anyway, these are obviously a work in progress. This is the first sock of the 2. But you can see on the inside, all of the colors are stranded. And in order to do this, I actually had to learn how to do Fair Isle knitting. So not only is it super fun, it's a new technique for me, and I love these little stripes. So it's just stripes, 5 rows of each color, but then the color change, so the row in between, the 6th row right here, is knitting every other. So like knit a gray, knit a white, knit a gray, knit a white, knit a gray, knit a white. Anyway, I'm really, really excited about these, and I can't wait for them to be done. Anyway, and the white has sparkle in it, which I'm not sure if you can see. Yeah, you can kind of see it there, which is also fun. Anyway, that's it. So for all of you Calligra knitters, or just knitters, there's a group of us that want to do a knit along, and it seems like the consensus for what to knit is going to be to start knitting socks, because most of you have not knit socks before or are interested in having group support to get through a pair of socks. So I think that's a brilliant idea. I think it's super fun. They can be very quick if you're knitting on them religiously. So I bought yarn for it. Okay. This is Anzula Squishy in their Sea Breeze colorway. It's 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. And what I thought I would do is film myself knitting the socks. So basically, kind of do a step-by-step of custom fit socks, because I don't really use any patterns per se. So if I was going to knit a sock, I would first pick my yarn, which I've only made socks out of sock weight or fingering yarn. And because of my experience with knitting socks, which isn't that much, but I've knit, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 pair. Okay, sorry. So I was thinking I would film a step-by-step how to make custom fit socks and explain going through, and then possibly I've had some requests to do Periscope, so maybe I'll do those for that. Anyway, I'm really excited about it. I'm hoping I can get it all, my head wrapped around all of it, and start filming it by the next podcast. But if you are interested in joining, go ahead and get yourself some sock yarn. So I would suggest getting a fingering weight yarn. So what you're going to look for on the label is something that says like this. Like it'll say, can you see that right here? 7.5 stitches to 1 inch on US 2 needles. So something like that. We will be using size 0 or size 1 needles. Really on socks, it's going to depend on how tightly you knit, and what your tension is. But I think, and for me, the tighter the knit, the better. You want negative ease on your socks so your socks are tight and they're not sliding down. So I use size 0, which I believe is 2.25 millimeter, so either a 2.25 or a 2.5 millimeter needle. So go ahead and get double points if you wish, or I use a 60-inch long needle. You can see it on this sock. And these are the 0s. So this is basically what we're gonna do. So if you want to start trying to figure out like some really fun yarn, poke around indie dyers, poke around your local yarn store, poke around Michael's or Joann's. I will say that the only sock yarn I'll buy from them is Patton's Croy, because it's 100% wool, and I just have no interest in putting anything else on my feet, but possibly yours stocks more fun varieties. Anyway, I'm really excited about that, so I hope you guys will be too. I'll be doing it here on the podcast, but mostly running it on Instagram, I think, and possibly a Facebook group or a Ravelry group. I'm not sure. So again, I hope to do that, start that next time. And anyway, happy knitting for the next time until I see you. So I got my sewing mojo back after the last podcast. It was so inspiring to do it and to have things to show you that I really started dreaming and started making things. So I have 2 things that I've made. The first you may have seen on Instagram if you follow me, and it's the Merchant Mills Top 64. It's really cute. It's got little pockets, and it totally reminds me of an artist's smock, which I love. So I've been wearing that all week, and this is really pretty Nanny Eero fabric that I bought probably a year ago and couldn't figure out what to make with. So I'm very happy with this top, and I will definitely be making others. I'm actually thinking it would be cute as a short sleeve top for the spring and the summer. So my second thing that I've made, well, the last thing that I've made, is this top. So let me stand up and show you. It is the Wixton tank top and dress. It's a PDF download pattern, and I've made the dress, but I've never made a shirt, and I'm super happy with it. I actually whipped it up last night. It took maybe an hour and a half to make, from cutting out the pattern itself, cutting out the fabric, sewing it together. I actually have all finished seams. I didn't even half-ass it. I completely finished it out. So super excited about it. And now my head's going, and I want so many more of these for the spring and the summer, and especially because I think the lace sweater I'm planning to design would be the perfect layering piece with this. So for spring, I'm imagining different tanks and different patterns, and then a really pretty, that yarn is buried now, I think, but really pretty soft coral sweater. to go with it. So I am so excited about those two things, the fact that they both fit really beautifully and making more of them. So hopefully next time I'll have more to show you, because we are changing seasons here. I know that we're still in for more snow and more rain, but the weather generally has been much more beautiful. And like today I went out in this and my thunderstorm shawl and it was fine. So a sleeveless shirt in March. Yeah, I think that's it for sewing. I have very few things in kitchen and garden, but I do have my finished vodka, which is orange ginger infused vodka. And let's see, I think I strained it out last weekend, so I think it infused for about 2 weeks, and it's delicious. So I have made two cocktails with it. One was the vodka with grapefruit juice and a little bit of sparkling water. And the second one I've made was the vodka with simple syrup and sparkling water. So you really got the true flavor of the infused vodka, and both were really good. So that's a fun, very inexpensive way to get fancy cocktails. Just to buy a bottle or a handle of vodka and then see what's fresh and what's beautiful at your local grocery store and infuse it. So I don't ever really use recipes for those kinds of things. I think citrus is the easiest thing to do. So, and it's in season right now, especially in California where I used to live. So I did a lot of it there, cooking and infusing with the citrus. But yeah, so you just use the peel and stick it in a jar with vodka for a few weeks and then strain it out, and you have a beautiful, it went from clear to this like beautiful golden color in a matter of 2 weeks. So it's kind of fun. And then, yeah, this last weekend, I spent most of my time outside actually, dreaming and working in the garden. I started a compost bin here because it's our first year gardening here, and because it was so beautiful and it was gonna rain, it rained on Tuesday of this week, so I decided to throw seeds. So I threw seeds for chamomile, for dill, for poppies, what else? Mostly that. So some flowers, some herbs, things that should stay dormant until the weather is really right for them to sprout, so that they don't sprout and then get killed by frost or by snow. But they're things that if you have planted them, they will self-seed. So because they'll self-seed, to me, I'm thinking if I throw them, they will sprout when they should sprout. So we shall see. I'm really excited about that potential. We have a ton of bulbs coming up. The crocus have started blooming. And I think there's a whole bunch of tulips in the yard. Because we didn't plant them, they were from the previous homeowner. I have no idea what anything is, but there's some that are big and green leaves, and then there are some that are emerging to be like a dark burgundy color. So anyway, I'm very excited to see what those are. What else? I also started my tomatoes and peppers this past weekend in the greenhouse. So I have like a little bitty lean-to greenhouse in the front of the house, and that we moved with us from California. And currently I have kale and lettuce that have sprouted, and they're going, and they're just establishing their true leaves before I can transplant them into individual pots and then eventually put them out in the garden as soon as the weather is a bit warmer or less likely to freeze at night. And yeah, but because tomatoes and peppers require 6 to 8 weeks of growing time before you can transplant them out, 8 weeks from March is May. So it's time. So I planted, I want to say like 6 different heirloom varieties of tomatoes, and I planted pepperoncini peppers and what other peppers? There were 2 types of peppers. I'm at a loss. I don't know. Anyway, so those have not sprouted yet. That was just on Sunday that I planted them, so it's only been about 4 days. And usually it takes 7 to 10 for them to sprout, so hopefully by next time I'll have a report on what's growing and what's growing well. And I also think, so for people that start seeds indoors early, it's more common to start them inside and under grow lights or in a sunny windowsill. And then once they're ready to go outside, you have to acclimate them to the outdoors. Well, starting to garden in California, which is where I learned to garden, the weather was so great that I didn't need to start anything inside. So my strategy for Colorado is the same, except for I'm starting things a bit later. And because Denver has a lot of sun and like not like real gloomy days, I think it'll be okay to grow things in the greenhouse outside and then not really have to like mess with the grow lights and everything that you would need to grow or to start seeds indoors. So we'll see, but I will keep you posted on that. Anyway, hopefully it's becoming spring or perhaps fall if you are in the southern hemisphere, but hopefully the weather is changing for you wherever you are, and that you're getting at least a few beautiful days. So anyway, I think that's it for all of my making adventures, and I'll keep you posted. Hi calligraphy friends. If you haven't been with me this whole time, I totally understand. And if you're not interested in calligraphy, I will see you later. But I wanted to share a few things on what I've been working on with calligraphy this past week or since the last episode. Of course, for me, calligraphy and hand lettering are kind of, it's a big black hole because there's so much that I do with it and so much that I have learned and so much that is still yet to be learned that it's very endless, or at least that's how I feel about it. So anyway, I wanted to start off by saying that I'd had a few people text me recently about what in the world are these challenges that you've been doing, both for my feed on Instagram, so Antiquary Bailey, as well as Antiquary Design. And it's the hand-lettered ABCs challenges, which I started up with the very beginning of this year, so 2016. But they've been going, I think, for maybe this is the second go around. So I think they might have started in 2015, but it's super fun. So if you follow them, they would be at Hand Lettered ABCs on Instagram. And every week they issue a challenge. And so this past week it was pencil. So, which actually would still be going on, I think, through the end of the week. And the challenge is to do your lettering with a pencil, which I actually use a pencil all the time. So it was kind of fun, but I don't usually post my pencil work. So anyway, it was super fun. And yeah, every week they put out a challenge, and I invite everybody to participate. It's a really fun, kind of different calligraphy community on Instagram than I was used to. So anyway, and the girls that run it are just the cutest and the most talented calligraphers. Super fun to follow as well. So I encourage you to follow all of them. Anyway, just wanted to make mention of that. And then I think today I'm going to start off with what I've been working on for Antiquaria this past week, because we are in the process of finalizing our new products for the May release for the National Stationery Show. And if you're not familiar with that, it is where wholesalers go and they set up a booth. It's in the Javits Convention Center in New York City, and I believe it's like the middle of May. So my business partner Emma and I will be going and setting up a showroom essentially with all of our products in it. So because lead times are so long in production, we're wrapping everything up for that launch, and then we'll be sampling, producing everything. Then we will get it, then we will photograph it and create all of our marketing and our promos around it. So it's kind of fun. It's definitely very different than how our business used to run. And yeah, I think I'd like to share like a little bit of the behind the scenes with you. So I've been working on new journal designs. So we make these journals. Ooh. That one says don't forget. These are copper foiled. Little black book. Note to self. It's navy. We have 8 currently in the line, and we're looking to add more. So this past week, I've been working on new lettering designs for them. So here's what that lettering looks like before it's turned into a die to be foiled. So this lettering, I'm gonna try to make a video of my process because I actually think it's really interesting, and it's changed over time. I'll try to get it closer. So I use, for this lettering, a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen. That's navy, but I use black. And then a 01 micron. And what I'd like to do is maybe film myself doing a few letters or a short word and just show you how I do that. Just because I think it's a way that I use my natural flow and calligraphy and rhythm of writing that I've developed over time, but kind of making it more like drawn letters. So making brush letters, but then polishing it up to be reproduced. So I'll try to do either insert a video or do an additional video for you guys to watch if you're interested in that. I'll also show you some lettering I did for Instagram, which was done not with the pit brush, but with, it's the Pentel sign pen, which I actually prefer. It's really hard to see, there isn't really a label in there. But I actually really prefer writing with this. But it came out after the Pitt pen, and when you have lettering styles that you have to reproduce over and over, like getting, see how. So this will be the third release of notebooks that we have, and they all have to go together. So essentially, like, that's the lettering for this one, but I have to make the new products match, like be cohesive. So I have to remember, and I have to use the same tools and the same process to make that happen. So anyway, you can tell that the line quality on this is much finer. And I think that the sign pen, the Pentel sign pen, behaves and controls much more like a pointed pen for me than any other brush pen that I've used. It's a very, very fine tip. And also very stiff. So it's not like using a paintbrush at all. Anyway, I thought that, I know not everybody's interested in brush lettering, but that there's a growing amount of people that are, and I'm by no means an expert at brush lettering. It's something that I have developed my personal style of brush lettering and my personal practice for it, and I've never taken any classes or anything on it. So I would definitely recommend, if you are interested in brush lettering, my friend Melissa Esplin of calligraphy.org has a really good comprehensive brush script class that you can take online, and I've heard it's fantastic. So I would definitely recommend that if you want lessons. The last thing I'll show you for antiquary style stuff is this name Magnolia. So on the Antiquary Design Instagram account, I've just started doing videos of myself writing people's names, and I will randomly pick a winner every few days and I'll record it, and it's fantastic practice for me because I'm not deciding who wins. So, for example, it could be a name that I've never written before. Like, I don't think I've written Magnolia before, actually. But anyway, it's kind of exciting, and it's because I don't do a lot of envelope addressing anymore. I kind of miss having the challenge of writing things that are dictated to me. So the letter combinations of people's names or of addresses, street addresses, it's a good challenge for practicing your letter connections, the design balance of words. So, if you will, my goal for these are to have a beautiful, flourished name that is an overall design. And I have to do that a lot because, like, same thing with this, same thing with this. There's a lot of there's a lot of that I do. So I've honed in on how to design with my lettering over the years. But it's still a really good challenge. It's still something you should practice every day. If you're there, if you're interested in calligraphy or hand lettering, practicing on real things, practicing with names or gifts for loved ones, and having it be real and not just pages and pages and pages and pages of drills, or pages and pages of A's, or pages and pages of B's. At a certain point, which is not very far in, there's only so much you can learn from that. It's much better to learn the structure and then to do something real. And then once you've practiced a bit, restudy that letter A and maybe do a page of A's. And you'll notice a huge difference because you have a week or 2 weeks or a month or 2 months worth of additional experience with the tool. So, kind of having that check and balance of practicing, doing your drills, doing something, doing words, doing a quote, doing a poem, doing a Bible verse, going back to drills, so you're constantly growing, and you're not just stuck in, I'm a calligrapher, I need to do all these drills, I need to do this, I need to do that, until I get good. Because what is good? I mean, I think a lot of people look at the work that's shown on Instagram and, think, wow, these people are great. But, and it's true, they are great. But there's also so much more that I think everybody is working toward, trying to hone in on, or perfect or grow in. So just keep that in mind. That's just my 2 cents. When I teach, I always tell people, this is the last time you're going to be writing these letters standing alone, because I think in real practice and in real life, and to have it be an enjoyable hobby, you need to be writing these things with love and to people that you love and about things that you love. So if you're not getting to that point, then kind of what's the point, at least for me. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. In Spencerian world, I have been working on a new capital stem, which if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen so many of, and I'm just not sick of it, but it's this capital stem right here, which you can also see on that Z. So the process for me is just to write. So when I'm doing Spencerian, I'm just working on the rhythm of writing and making, as perfect ovals as possible, and the weights and the hairlines and all of that. So that's a lot to go into today, but I just wanted to show you a little bit about what I'm working on in that script. And I did post a video on this YouTube page of me writing this signature. And it's in real time. I did not speed it up at all. I didn't cut out any ink dipping or anything like that. So you can see my actual pace for writing, which is not super duper fast at all, but is not nearly as slow as when I'm writing my normal weighted script. So it's definitely something that I've been working on a lot, and I'm really I'm really still enjoying it a lot too. So anyway, I also thought it would be kind of fun to have a bit of a giveaway, which I will have over on Instagram. But, what am I going to do? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to give away stationery. So one of the things in the little packet will be this note to self notebook duo, and as well as a letter from me and a bunch of other stationery and papery goodness. So anyway, I will keep you posted on that. I'll probably post it on my Instagram account just because that's the easiest way to pick a winner. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. So anyway, be sure to keep an eye out on my Instagram if you have any interest in winning that. So yeah, let's see. I, super sad face, have no mail to show you today because I didn't get any. Not a good week for the mailman or for me. So anyway, I do love getting mail. I would absolutely love to be pen pals with people if you're interested. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, writing back and forth or sending cards or letters or anything like that, I'd be happy to send you my mailing address, either in a DM on Instagram, or if you'd like to email me, I will leave my email in the comments in the video, but it's Bailey@shopantiquaria.com. And yeah, hopefully, I mean, I would love to have fun mail to show on the podcast. And I know I already write with a ton of you. I think it's just timing because I haven't gotten anything and I haven't really sent a lot either. So it's probably just a matter of timing. But I know that there's also potentially other people that like sending mail and like being pen pals, and I'd be super open to that as well. So anyway, hopefully I will see you here next time. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for watching. Feel free to reach out with any questions that you have about my life, about calligraphy, anything you want to see on the podcast. That would be fantastic to know. I'd be happy to explain things, explain techniques, demonstrate things, or make videos about things. Totally open to suggestions. Anyway, until next time, happy knitting, happy sewing, and happy lettering. Bye.